Hey folks, it's Ardwulf. Welcome. I have an unboxing video for you today. And the target for the day is this game, Shiloh, April 6th to 7th, 1862, from Worthington Publishing. This is in what I would call a... looks like it's roughly a 2-inch box. Pretty standard size. The box feels very heavy. And the box feels very heavy, if you know what I mean. So let's open her up and see what we got. This is a 2019 release. I'm not sure who the designer is. We'll get to that when we open her up. 2 players, 4 out of 10 difficulty, 3 to 4 hours is what it says for Shiloh. I have seen the components for this online, so we'll actually give this a workover. The box is quite thick, quite sturdy. This looks like just a hair thicker than the standard wargame box. So inside we have a bag of baggies. We have 2 10-sided dice in red and blue. We have very tightly packed components. So let's take it apart and deal with the components one at a time. We have a playbook. We have a second copy of the playbook. This is on a, I would say, mildly glossy stock. The playbook here is 8 pages. We have an introduction. So this is a game series called the Civil War Brigade Battles series, and there's, I believe, 2 games in the series so far. So there's the playbook, and then there's a series rulebook. So 8-page playbook. Looks like there's 2 scenarios. There's an April 6th scenario and a full battle scenario, which is April 6th and 7th. And then we have reinforcement schedules. We have some player notes and some designer's notes. Grant Wiley is the designer. We have full credit. Designed by Grant Wiley, Mike Wiley, and Mark Wiley. So the entire Wiley family is in on this. Art by Sean Cook. Thank you to Jim Miller for a sounding board on the series rules. So we get, again, 2 copies of that, which is interesting in and of itself. We get 2 copies of the series rules. The series rules are also 8 pages, of which I'm going to guess and say it's all rules. That does, in fact, appear to be the case. So, quite simple game. I don't know that I can comment necessarily on the 4 out of 10, since every company's scale is different. We have a player aid card, movement charts, morale charts, fire range charts, combat results tables. On the back side, we have the terrain effects table. Looks like there's not a huge amount of different terrain here. There's clear orchard, road, woods, and there's some different levels, which you'd expect. Creeks, streams, bridges, and the Tennessee River, which is prohibited except for gunboats. Okay, so 2 of these as well. It's kind of nice that they include 2 copies of the playbook, 2 copies of the rulebook. It is a 2-player game, and I don't believe it to be big enough to support teams unless you're doing it as like an introductory or teaching game. All right, so we have... Ooh, actually, there's quite a few counters. There's 4 counter sheets. These are the very nice, it's on quite thick stock. These are the fancy pre-rounded type. Looks like there's unalerted markers. I don't know what that means, but this would be your union. We have here Grant, McClernand, Lew Wallace, Prentice, Crittenden, Nelson. Sherman will be in here somewhere. There's Sherman's 5th Division. He is a leader, whereas the rest of these, I think, represent units. And then we have the Confederates along with some other markers, along with some blanks. It's always nice to get blanks, actually. You notice more Union than Confederates, which is not surprising. And here's your 2 gunboats. Here we've got, that'd be Albert Sidney Johnston. We got Hardy, Adams, McCullough, Clark, Cheatham, Ruggles, and Withers as the, what looks like the cavalry leaders. Like, of course, P.T. Beauregard, or P.G.T. Beauregard. So very nice. These counters look really nice. We also have 2 sheets of rotary markers. I call them rotary markers. I'm told these are sometimes called Pollard markers, presumably after somebody named Pollard who came up with them. And I noticed that the numbers are pretty high, right? These things run up to 32. And you would use these to mark strength points. So you'll have to change these out periodically, but which not sure I've seen before anywhere. They're actually color-coded. Well, sort of color-coded anyway. This looks, in this light at least, this looks black or very dark brown. This is sort of a blue. These are sort of like a medium brown, and 1 to 8 is black. So that's actually kind of nice that they do that. I'll make them a little easier to tell apart. And one more thing, we have a mounted map board, which I am going to lay out because we have returned, well, except for the game box, I have room to lay the map board out. So quite nice map. Here's going to be your, now I'm not sure if you can see this in the frame, Tennessee River's down here. Pittsburgh Landing presumably is here. Shiloh Church will be on here somewhere, presumably. The whole thing is done on sort of a brownish parchmenty type stock. This lays out of the box pretty flat, not perfectly flat. You have to weigh it down a little bit, I think, the first time you play it. But it does lay flatter than a lot of wargame hard-mounted maps that I've seen right out of the box. It looks very well done. Nice and thick. I think this will be very suitable for a great deal of hard play. So, what we have seen here then, I'll put this all back together, is Shiloh, April 6th to 7th, 1862, from Worthington Publishing. Very nice looking game. Looks like a very solid introductory or easy level war game to cut your teeth on. So we are going to see what we could do to get this to the table and get back to you with a report at some point, hopefully in the not too far distant future. So stay tuned for that. If you've enjoyed the unboxing, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Do check out Patreon if you're so inclined. It is linked in the video description. And until later, happy wargaming.